Well, hello everyone, this is John Ward with the Appalachian Channel, and welcome to this video that I've made about owning a motorhome. We're going to talk about some of the things that the RV dealers or anybody selling a motorhome will never want to tell you. I have bought my motorhome last year, in March of 2023. This is August 21st, 2024. So I've got over a year experience with this motorhome, and I'm going to tell you some costs and expenses and some things that a lot of people don't get told about when they go to a RV lot or something to buy one, because they don't want you to know that. And but yeah, a lot of people ask me, what's it like living in a motorhome, John? Well, it's not bad. I like it pretty good. But there's, is it more expensive to live in a motorhome than a house, or is it cheaper to live in a motorhome than a house? Well, we're going to talk about that just a little bit, and I'm going to go over some of the cost. But one of the things that you have to definitely have is somewhere to keep the motorhome while you're not using it. Now, so that's the first thing before you buy a trailer or an RV, a motorhome, whatever it might be. Where are you going to keep it at? And hey guys, check this sun out. It's beautiful out here this morning. It was 56 degrees this morning, I think. This is August, and we had July rain. June was hot. Now, the middle of this month, we got some pretty decent weather. But this is where I live at. I'll give you a little bit of a look around. This is Beverly Hills subdivision here, and this is Beverly Hills Lane. I love this road right here. I love these trees down through here in this fence row. This is always going to be a pasture field over here. This is a lot of this is TVA property, and so nobody will ever build on that. So I had to buy this place to keep the motor home, because the first thing I looked at was, when I was going to get a motor home, I started looking at places to rent monthly in a RV park. And there's a lot of new parks around, popped up, especially during the pandemic. They popped up everywhere. So, you know, I got to looking, what's it going to cost to live in an RV lot, and most places was $500 a month, plus your electric and water on top of that. So wow, I got to thinking, and that's a very, very small space. I've got a driveway over here, and you don't even get that much space for an RV site that I was looking at. You had room to maybe park one car, really no room outside, and you could almost touch your neighbor next door. So I did look at quite a few places at renting at $500 a month. Some's $400, some's a little cheaper, some's a little more, just depending. But on average, here in East Tennessee, I found that monthly rent was about $500 to park an RV. And so I decided, why don't I just buy a piece of property and park that RV there? And then that's what I did. I was able to buy this lot here in Campbell County for under $30,000. It's under an acre, and that's all I needed. It's 2 miles from town. So my payment, after I paid about $8,000 down or something, was only $200 a month, and I'm owning this property and not renting it. So you say, well, I'm just going to park the motorhome in my backyard, John, or in my driveway. Well, if you live in a homeowners association, you're not going to probably do that. A lot of subdivisions has restrictions on parking motorhomes or RVs outside. So I had, even before I built this building, I had to check under restrictions, and I had to talk to Lonnie Hatmaker, who built this subdivision in the early 70s, and asked him, hey, can I build this building here okay without any problems? And he said, yeah, that won't be no problem at all. So if you want a barn-dominium, and some of you have watched my videos on building this barn-dominium, and if you haven't, there's 8 or 10 videos of putting this together and building it. Actually, all the way back from buying this property when there wasn't anything here, all the way to now, there's videos in there showing, breaking down the costs and different things. I told you I had about $30,000 in the lot. Then the building and the lot, I've got about $110,000 total. in the property at right now. But I still got to finish the interior, and I'm expecting what I'm going to build on the interior is going to be about $40,000 on the interior. So this was working out for me really good. Now, whether it's going to work for you, you know, it's hard to say, because, you know, a lot of people I see that bought property online, acreage to come down and homestead or whatever in East Tennessee, and they found out there was no electricity, there's no water, and there's no septic, and they have to bring in power and electric and water, and that costs a fortune. Now, one of the things that really costed me a lot that I wasn't planning on was my sewer. A lot of people say, well, I'm just going to live for free in an RV or motorhome and park in Walmart and camp at places that are free. And you can do that, but that's not an easy life on the go, moving all the time. Nowhere to store stuff, nowhere to put stuff really. And you have to have septic system. And I'm going to show you, you really can't see mine so much right now, but right here, let's see here. There's two lids like this. It's buried right here. And this is the electric for the pump. I had no idea I had to pump my sewage into a pressurized line that went right up here on my property, and it costed a lot of money. I thought it was just going to be, you know, be able to just run gravity-fed sewer right in and not really cost anything. But no, that didn't happen, and it never does when you come across unexpected things. That was almost $8,000 more I wasn't expecting. It's crazy. A lot of people says, why do you have to have a septic tank and you're pumping into sewer line? Is because it only gives you a 1-inch line. It only lets water, liquid, come through that line into the sewage. So you have to have a regular septic tank, a pump. Anyways, when you're buying a lot, check on your septic and check on your utilities, well, that's important. And right now, I'm still running on my temporary power that you can see right here. That will eventually change here before too long. Once I get the interior started, I can't do anything on the electrical until I get some walls built. So this is the tent that some of you might have saw me buy, or no, wait a minute, I didn't buy it. They sent it to me to do a review on. I put that up at one time last year on one of the videos. And so this is my back corner down here. You can see down there, maybe that big tree, that's the corner. My dog Zoe's buried down there. Some of you might still remember Zoe. She passed away last year in June. So for me, this lot worked out good. I grew up in this town. I've lived in this town my whole entire life so far. And so, you know, this is 2 miles from town. It's not way out in the country. Don't have to drive a long ways. And I do enjoy living in this barn dominium, even though the interior is not completely finished, and we're getting ready to go inside. We're going to look at the motorhome and talk about that and different things. But I really enjoy living in a motorhome. Now, this little tent will eventually be gone. I will build an actual permanent structure out of 6x6 posts and metal roof, and it'll be like a porch back here eventually. That's all in time. So this is where I keep my lawnmowers. Got a little setting area out here, and I kind of like it. I like sitting out here in the evenings or whenever, taking a break. Eventually, I'm going to build a house in this section you see right here. I don't need it right now, so I'm not in no hurry, and I don't have the money. So that's a whole other thing that we've got to take under consideration, is the cost of things. Things has come down. Prices were extremely high on RVs, trailers, especially because so many people during the pandemic sold their home and realized, hey, we can't buy nothing back and not pay even more than what we sold our house for. So there was a tremendous run on RVs, not so much motor homes, but trailers for people to live in them. And so I decided to build this building here to keep my RV in, because if you don't keep it enclosed out of the weather, it's going to deteriorate even faster. And so this works out where I've got it parked in here, and we're gonna go in and take a look at it. Come on, let's go on inside. Okay, my building is a 24 by 60. I built it bigger so that I'd have room back here in the back part to have a bedroom upstairs there and a bathroom, utility room downstairs. Right now, that storage building is my utility room. I use that for washing. I don't have a dryer hooked up in there yet, but so we're gonna go in here, and so a lot of people says, well, I'll just rent storage and put my RV in a storage building when I'm not using it. Well, that's okay, you can do that. I see that all over, people with RVs in storage buildings. And you know, that runs anywhere a minimum of $50 a month up to $200 a month here in East Tennessee for storage. So if you store a motorhome, so we're really talking about the very first step here, and I never use a script. I just kind of talk as just like if you was to stop by my house and stop by here and we were talking about how to do what I've done here. I'm just talking to you like that. So it just says things are coming to my mind. So the first thing is where you're going to keep it at. So I had to build, I didn't have to, but I wanted to build in this barn dominium to keep the RV in so that it will not deteriorate. Plus it lets me live in the building, kind of like, at first I thought this would just be a covered shed, and you can do that, but I wanted to make this an actual living quarters in here. And so, as you can see, I have some extra room in here. Got a TV over here, a setting area here. This whole area in the back right here, where you see this ladder, I've been working on my security system up there and putting in more cameras, so I've got ladders still out. But this back part here will be the living quarters. From the big pole you see over there, the 6x6, to this one is 10 foot. So right in this area on the left right here, where you see these tables and this sink, will be a laundry room. On this side over here, where you see the shower tub that I've already got, will be the bathroom. I've got a tub, a commode, and a sink so far, and it'll come over to that pole there. So there'll be eventually that bathroom, and then upstairs a bedroom, and I'm hoping that I can come past that 10 foot and do what they call cantilever 2 feet over to make the bedroom bigger, but if not, no big deal. So I have a back door, I have plenty of windows in here. And then here's my motorhome. I've got a table here that's just got work stuff on it. Over here is where I charge a lot of my equipment, and I also still work on a few iPhones here. This is being turned into my office space, which is a mess right now. And I think I'm gonna open up this garage door right here, give us a little bit more light in here. But I can park my motorhome closer to the back to give me more room up front. Kind of like a little room back here. I keep my vehicle maintenance stuff here a lot of times, my pressure washer, my charger, my vacuum cleaner, cleaning supplies, so forth back here. And then down through here, I have a variety of junk, tools mainly, that I've brought. And we're gonna come back and talk about this down here in a minute. I had done a repair there a couple of days ago, and we're gonna talk about that repair in just a little bit also. But this is my motorhome. Let me tell you about the motorhome. So first you're gonna say, where are you gonna keep the motorhome? Second, you gotta find, what are you gonna buy? A RV that you can drive, a motorhome, or a trailer. What's gonna work best for you? For me, I wanted a motorhome, and this is the Greyhawk 29 MV J-Ride Plus. I do like the ride on this. This ride's really good and drives and handles really good because of this J-Ride Plus. This last year in March cost me $82,500 plus tax of about $90,000. So I've got almost as much in this motorhome as I do this entire property and building. But The motorhome is something that I need. I really need this and use this for my business. And so without this, I would be having to just drive and stay in motels. All right, so the first thing, where am I going to keep this if I do buy an RV? 2, how much is it going to cost? And 3, a lot of people thinks the big cost is going to be the maintenance, and that's not it. I'm going to get to what your biggest expense that you probably never thought about on owning an RV here, and just I'm getting there. Just hold on. It's something that I feel like is hard to ever compete with living in a house. 2 different things is going on here. One, this you can move and go where you want to. A house is stationary. A house and real property is real. It will, this building will go up in value in this property. This motorhome is decreasing every single day in value. It will never be what it was worth when I bought it, and it will lose about 15% of its value every year. So there we go. There's a number one cost that the RV dealers will never tell you is, hey, when you buy this next year, it's going to be worth maybe $15,000 less, even if you don't use it, even if you don't go on a trip in it, it's going to depreciate. So that is something that they'll never tell you when you're buying one. Oh, well, just want to let you know that this is going to depreciate very rapidly. One thing that they won't tell you is that they will say there's minor maintenance. So now we're going to talk about maintenance and upkeep. Maintenance and upkeep is not that bad, although I spent $1,300 about a month after I bought this to put a new computer in the generator. The generator computer went down for some reason, and here I am having to take it to the Cummins dealer. $1,300 later, it now starts and runs again. What happened to it? I have no idea. It was working fine. So, this is a moving home. It's like your house being in an earthquake and shaking all day long when you're driving this. So everything in there is vibrating, shaking. So in a year and 3 months or whatever, 4 months, 5 months, however long I had this now, they've been a lot of things break, okay? Water lines break, and you don't just fix those like you used to in a house with PVC plastic. It's all PEX, you have to have special tools. It's hard to get to. So that's one thing. Let's take a little look at some of the PEX, and I'll be right back to show you some other things like the electrical, a leak I had, just on and on things are falling apart on this motorhome. But let's look at this, a few of these video clips that I filmed here over the last year, working on this, and we'll be right back. All right, this is the bedroom with the slide out. And underneath the bed, which I've removed the mattress, is a lot of the mechanicals. A big part of the mechanicals we're going to find under here. And I'm going to lift this up and explain a little bit to you about it. And get that up there. We'll start right here with the water. And then I've done take the bolts off this right here, the screws out, and remove this. And then this is the rest of what I want to show you, what you get into working on a motorhome. And it's quite overwhelming. I work on iPhones and I'm kind of a tech guy, but unless you specialize in this, you really don't know what's what. I have learned a little bit about it. You have it says pure sine wave inverter. That's for 12 volt. Here is, one of those things, yeah. And down there's a box. And so any of this that goes out, here's some relays of some sort for something. This is the main fuse box for the 110. Let me open that up. These are 110 breakers right here. Then it also has 12 volt breakers in here. You've got a whole variety of those that's in there for different things. So, believe me, I have been into these. I'll put that back later. I have been into all of this because I had a plug-in. Let me show you a plug-in over here. Here's one of the plug-ins in the bathroom that went out. Now, it actually quit working up front, and it was because of vibration. This is not a regular plug-in that you find in a house. It goes together completely different. It slides together. Oh man, it was a mess. I got it fixed. It took me a couple days to track down the problem. And yeah, got that fixed. 2 days wasted to fix one plug-in to make the other plug-ins work. Then here's some of the water that comes in, and out here, this would be the area where I keep my sewage drain tanks, or sewage drain pipes and stuff that I hook up when I travel. And then you got this system here that splits your water when you're filling the tanks up, or when you're doing a variety of different things, whether you're running on 12 volt or running on pressurized water. You've got to set that a certain way. So my problem was, the first thing I run into was right down here on this PEX. This blue is the water line, and I guess the red could be hot water. I'm not for sure where that's even going to down there, but it runs all the way back through this compartment into the bathroom. Runs throughout all the way to the kitchen, to the shower, outside to the outside shower. Gosh, it runs everywhere. So you got these special clamps on this that takes a special tool, and I have that out there or put up, and I carry it with me to clamp these back, and I carry extra clamps and extra fittings. This is a T-fitting, and my T-fitting right down in here started leaking. And I had to replace a lot of this because it was just so short. So I had to replace more than I really needed to get it fixed. I got it fixed, it's working. Was another day's work wasted fixing that. If something in here goes out, I have no clue. So just to give you an idea, it's not like a home electrical system. Right down here something, look at that. Another box down there. What it does, I don't know. This is not all of the water and electrical, but this is a big part of it, and I want to show you what you get into when something goes out on this. You say, well, I'll take it to the motorhome dealer. Well, that's fine if you want to wait 3 to 8 weeks, seems like, on anything. And so, you know, you're going to be fixing this yourself, or finding you somebody local that can fix it if they know how. And let me tell you, you're going to be Googling a lot. When you've got a motorhome, you're going to be Googling what some of this stuff is when it goes out. So get you a toolbox and a lot of tools, and make sure you got access to YouTube, because you're going to be needing it on this at different times, especially if you drive this motorhome. If you drive a motorhome or your motorhome, the more you drive it, the more things shake and break. I call it shake and break. All right, so we're going to go outside, and I'm going to show you something I filmed a few days ago. I started having sewage leak out from underneath the motorhome. Let's go to those clips and we'll be back. All right, guys, so I have a sewage leak that I have noticed inside the motorhome over here. It's black water or gray water. I didn't know for sure what it was. I have some water coming off my roof of my motorhome from my air conditioner there too, some of that, but I really couldn't figure out. It started leaking little by little by little, more and more. So just one of the other many problems that you have with a motorhome. Here is where you drain your sewage. You've got gray water here, black water here, and you got big tanks under here. And I kind of looked up under here one day and could see that it was dripping over in here, but wasn't really for sure what I was looking at until I backed the motorhome out to the edge of the building. That gave me a few extra inches of height, and I climbed up under here to look and see what kind of craziness is going on here. And here it is. This bolt right here that holds this leaf spring is eat into the tank right there. Check that out. Ain't that just wonderful? And why this design is even that close to that, why this tank would even come that close to that bolt. Crazy. So I'm not for sure even how this tank comes out, but I'm not taking the tank out. My first option is this is probably not moving too much. I don't know how much this is moving backwards and forth right here. I guess this is a leaf spring, and this is the leaf spring bracket. And so I don't know how stationary this is here. I see there's a bolt here, but I don't know if this, how much plays here. Doesn't look like there's much play. Just was long, and it's eat in. You can see the plastic right here, eat back. So I think what I'm gonna do is clean that up with a brush. I've drained the tank and cleaned it good. There's nothing in the tank. And put JB weld on it. JB weld all the way around it. That's my very first thing to try to see how long that'll last. That's not gonna be permanent because in this vehicle, it moves up and down on the road. You're hitting bumps. And that's one of the problems of living in a motorhome or driving one, or a motorhome in general, just having one, is everything's moving. Your whole house is like being in an earthquake almost every day. So yeah, that causes problems. So there's your one more problem, guys, to show you. Can you believe that? I love it. It's gonna be another great day. Let's go to Ace Hardware and get some JB weld. All right, guys, I just got back from the local hardware store from getting some JB weld so I can fix this. I'm gonna need to clean it with some bleach foaming cleaner. I've got some tools here to file it down with a little bit. The brush is to clean around the bolt and in there where I can't get in. So I'm gonna have to clean it good because it is nasty. It is sewage that's leaked out on it. So I'm gonna let it soak with some of this Clorox, and then once I get it filed down, I'm gonna grind it around there a little bit with this to clean it and to kind of rough up that plastic so that it'll have more texture to hold to. And then I'm gonna let it dry with the fan. But apparently right now it just started raining, and I guess all I will be able to do is go ahead and get some of this foaming cleaner on it. I don't think it's going to rain long, but I'll be letting it disinfect with some of this, and then I'll show you the process of mixing this and putting it on there, and we'll see. It will work better than it's doing now, I'm sure, but it will not be a permanent fix. It'll probably leak again, and I'll probably have to do the same thing again, remove it, put new JB weld. So let me get up underneath here, move some of my tools over, and maybe this rain will hold off because I need to get this done, because I'm hoping the rain will hold off because I need to get some of this done, just due to the fact that I gotta put this back inside to hook everything back up. So yep, right there is crazy. Look at that. So I'm gonna start up here, backside, downside, all in put in here. Everything around it, even the tank itself. It was leaking down the tank. So I just want to show you some of the crappy jobs. So I just want to show you some of the crappy jobs of things you might be doing if you own a motorhome. All right, nope. Back up here. Yep, it's in my face now. Leeches. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit of water here. Do some rinsing. Okay, so I got another brush right here. I'm gonna scrub this tank And I'm laying on a rug over here that I have pulled back. So, yep. It leaked down through there. And so you can see here the brush don't get up in there very good. This big brush. So that's the reason. Okay, that's why I got this small brush to try to get back, back up in here, and here, and this bolt, around the bolt, because that JB wheel is going to go all in here. And it's not going to be easy to get it all upside down, but I need to find something to kind of spoon it on there with. I might actually just go get a spoon and use that spoon to just kind of pour it up here at the top. So I've kind of brushed it in here some. And this is just the first part of this. I'm going to now rinse some more. Now this is soapy Dawn water, so it has some disinfectant in it. But yeah, if you had this issue and had to take it into a dealer, they'd probably want to keep this 3 or 4 weeks before they can get to it. So then you're out of your vehicle, your motorhome. They don't fix these very fast because they're so far behind. Every motorhome place I've been to, I've just seen all kinds of stuff backed up they couldn't get to. Running behind. Okay, so now we've got that much of it done, and I can kind of see it might have run back in here some. It's kind of dirty, so I'm going to go ahead and disinfect all of this area in here. So guys, I don't know if anybody watching this has ever seen anything like this. Let me know, leave me a comment. I'm gonna put the camera down because I gotta get a water hose to rinse this out here and brush it good. But I'll be right back once we start putting the JB weld on. I gotta dry. I'm gonna dry this. I'm gonna dry all this. I'm gonna rinse it good, dry it, and then I will start trying to file this down a little bit. I can feel where the burr is burred up. This is burred into the tank. So, you know, it's very possible the tank has shifted. When I look over here, there's room over here. This tank could have come this way. So I'm going to pull on it also and see if it possibly shifted that way. Could have. It's had to have moved. I know they couldn't have done that from the factory. They wouldn't have put that bolt. I know something has changed because they would not have put that bolt that close. So I'm going to think this tank has slid left over time from being vibrated. So whether I can pull it back, I don't know. I'll try that here in a minute and let you know. Okay guys, I've took a wire brush that was on the drill and went around this, and I've took and scraped this all the way around. I want to get this as clean and grease free as possible. And yeah, we're getting ready to mix up the JB weld. I gotta go find something. I've got something that I can take and put it right back in there. I'm gonna need something about the width of my finger. I guess I could put the gloves on. If I need to, just use my finger with the gloves to put that JB weld in there. It might work so I can feel exactly where it's going. And yeah, it's not, this is not going to be permanent, guys. Leave me some suggestions on this crazy situation, the way Jayco put this tank in here. They clearly had room over here to scoot it more this way, but it didn't get centered right or something by somebody. I can see it maybe sits in some kind of tracks right up there. I'm not for sure how it's mounted in here because I'm not seeing any screws, and it looks like there's a track and it slid in Doesn't really look like it's going to be removable very easy. If it had to be replaced, that would be the job. All right, I got to get the JB weld mixed up. It's starting to rain on me again, but I can get that JB weld on here and it can dry under here while it's raining. I won't bother the JB weld. But yeah, I went ahead and rinsed and cleaned and used the water hose, sprayed all this down. I used this fan right here to try to dry it out the best I could. So, all right, I got to mix this JB weld. Okay, guys, I've not been down here to check it. Let's get down here. I'm going to get down here on the ground, get up underneath here, and let's look and see. Let's see, where's it at? Oh, there it is. Right there's the fix, the JB weld. As you can see, it is okay, not bad, and no leaks. The problem's going to be is when this thing goes to moving. When these wheels go to turning and it goes to shaking, I'm pretty sure that JB weld's going to break loose. And but let's hope not. Let's hope not. So here's my water that comes in. I've got fresh water and black water tank clean out. Got water coming in here. My sewage line, I've got goes directly into my sewage over there. And let's go around to the other side. I'll show you a few things. Okay, all right, this is the other side. I had to make this contraption here. This is water in here. This is condensation from the air conditions up top. There's two air conditions, and when they run, they make condensation or water runoff. So it drips off the roof here into here and goes out here, outside onto the ground, and it doesn't go into the sewer. This is just condensation, so it doesn't have to go in the sewer. But anyways, I was able to make that. I used to keep a real wet spot here. That was quite a problem. Okay, so let's go over a few things on owning a motorhome versus a house. A house will go up in value. A motorhome will depreciate. This property, this building will go up in value, but in some years from now, that motorhome will be almost worthless. So, if you're going to get a motorhome or an RV, it's got to be something that you can really afford. It needs to be something that you're going to use, and it's not a cheap vacation. A lot of people, I buy that and then we don't have to rent a motel. So if you vacation 2 months, or say 2 weeks a year, you get 2 weeks vacation a year, and you take and divide the depreciation on a motorhome, you divide the insurance. My insurance runs about $1,200 a month. $1,200 a year, about $100 a month. And the gas is about 7 miles to the gallon when I drive it. The maintenance is not too bad as far as the actual maintenance, as far as oil change and things, but the actual motorhome itself is just falling apart on the inside. Now, Jayco is not an expensive motorhome. It's in the lower end lines of motorhome. That motorhome probably sells for $140,000 now. But there's motorhomes that sell for $500,000, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million. Those are motor coaches, and those are built to take a long-term use. But these type motorhomes are not designed to live in full-time, and the fact that the components are not the same quality as home-built components, what you'd find in a home. So, you know, things are breaking, anything that's plastic broke, seats are wearing out, and things like that. And I hear, and I went and looked at some motorhomes, and you'll find this if you're looking for motorhomes with mileage. You'll see things that says only 10,000 miles on it. You think, wow, that thing's got to be pristine. And you get there and you look at it, and the interior is completely shot. And what happened was, they didn't just drive it, they lived in that full time, and by living in it full time, they wore it out. They're not designed to live in full time. So you gotta see, look at your seats and your wire and all the different components on the inside of that motorhome to see how much wear and tear they've taken, because they don't take living in that little motorhome like it does a house. A house will hold up so much better, but the furniture in there is built in. So if you scratch it, dent it, something breaks on it, you don't have a lot of options. Oh, let's get a new chair, get a new couch. It's kind of built in. You got to kind of stick with it. So, you know, it's going to deteriorate and it's going to have a lot of issues that need to be fixed. And if you buy a motorhome or RV, get you a good toolbox and a lot of tools, and you're going to be watching a lot of YouTube videos on fixing things. So you're saying, John, man, that sounds terrible, owning a motorhome. Why would anybody want to own one? Well, I personally have the ability to use it. I need it for my YouTube business. For when I travel, I can work out of it as a production vehicle. I can live out of it. And so for me, it really pays off. But now, if I was just using this motorhome and just buying it to, oh, I'm going to go on vacation twice a year, I would have about $1,000 a day in using it probably. By the time you take the depreciation, you take your insurance, you take your, if you have to pay for storage, you add all those things in and you're like, wow, I could have bought a house somewhere, and you know, instead of buying this motorhome, I could have bought a house on somewhere I like to go, but a second house, you know, for vacation, and that house will go up in value. This motorhome's going to continually cost you money. Oh, something else I forgot that I pay is interest. You know, since I didn't have the money to pay cash for it, I pay interest on it. So that's $4 something a month, just interest, $400 or $500 a month interest on the motorhome. So, you know, this motorhome with depreciation and insurance, all that, it's costing me probably around $2,000 a month to have it. So, you know, since I use it to travel in and since I live in it, that $2,000 is not too bad for me. But if I was paying $2,000 a month for this motorhome just to sit here to use it twice a year, that $24,000 a year would be crazy to put that into a motorhome when you can put that into real property that will increase value, and you can just rent a motorhome. Did you know that? You can rent motorhomes. So, you know, if you want to take a motorhome on vacation, check into renting one before you buy one. And this is not good for people that sell motorhomes, and they probably hate me right now, and they're going, that idiot is killing our sales. But now, if you're retired, let me tell you, if I was retired and had plenty of money in the bank, I would have a motorhome and I would travel in it. And that's who you see using the motorhomes the most. Retired couples, especially wealthy couples, they'll buy a motor coach and they'll travel the world. And that's a great thing if you can afford to do that. But you know, that's not something everybody can afford to do. And I don't travel a whole lot in it. I have never took that vehicle on a pleasure trip and said, this is just completely for pleasure. I've never done that. It's always been work. Although my work's very pleasurable, I enjoy my work. So, you know, that's a big bonus for me to be able to do something I really, really enjoy. And but I just wanted to come to you in this video here today and give you a little bit of insight on some things. And the number one thing I want you to remember is the depreciation. Whether you use that vehicle or not, whether you park it in your yard, your garage, and it sits there a year later, it's not going to be worth as much as you paid for it by far. Insurance, the maintenance, I have to say the maintenance outside the generator part, putting the computer in that, $1,300. Everything else I've been able to do myself, and I probably could have done that. But get you a toolbox if you're going to buy one of these. Get you a lot of tools, especially PEX tools, the water lines. And you know, there were so many things on this motorhome that before I bought it, I did a lot of research, and I had other videos that I found that they said, you know, John, this video is telling me things that I didn't really expect. But you know, I did a lot of research on motorhomes on this Jayco before I bought it, and a lot of people had complaints about things, said that it was wrong with theirs, and I thought, well, they just had bad luck. It's not going to happen on mine, but it did. It happened. And you know, the cabinets wear out so easy. It's not real solid wood most of the time, and most of it there, and it's not real solid surface tops. It's mica tops or pressboard tops, so countertops and stuff. So it's just not something that is easy to keep from just literally just falling apart. You know, You've got slide-ins that come in and out, and I couldn't even tell you all the different things that I've had that I've worked on, but let me tell you, there's usually a list of something that needs to be fixed on the motorhome. And it's a 2019 model, it's not that old. I worried about getting an older one, that it'd have a lot of problems, but it doesn't matter whether you buy a new one, an old one, or what, you're gonna be working on it. You will enjoy it. Now, if you use it and you travel in it, it's well worth it. But if you park this, like I see in so many of these lots, storage lots with just RVs and motorhomes lined up that's never moved, maybe even for years they sit there, and people's paying ongoing storage and depreciation on those. So, you know, keep that in mind when you're buying a motorhome. Is it cheaper than living in a house? No, it is not. Is it different than living in a house? Most definitely different than living in a house. It's a, you know, a whole different experience because you can travel in it and you can go places and stuff. So, you know, it's up to you. It depends on how much money you make, how much disposable income you got, or whether you're going to be using a motorhome to work out of like I do. Now, I won't be living in this like I am right now after I get my upstairs bedroom built and bathroom, and that's going to come this winter, and there'll be videos on that coming up also this winter. If you've not seen the videos on the building of the barn dominium, they're going to be in the playlist called Barn Dough Life, and you can start and see the beginning of buying this property all the way to where I'm at today, a little over a year later. It's been a process that's been time consuming. If you got a job and you're working full time and you're trying to build something, you know, it's hard to get time off work to do that. But fortunately, YouTube is my business, so I was able to film this for my work as they build it and use it as content on the channel. But I hope this helped you realize that a motorhome is not cheaper or not better. If you're just gonna, a lot of people will say, I'm gonna just buy me a piece of property and buy me a camper trailer and put on it and live in it for now. That's okay for temporary, and so many people's doing that. But don't spend a lot of money on a camper because it's going to depreciate. And so listen, guys, I got to get ready to go meet some people that watch the channel. We're going to have lunch today at Judy's restaurant, and I love you all. I appreciate the comments. I know many of you just probably had experiences with RVs and motorhomes. If you had bad experiences, leave me a comment. Whatever experience you might have had, leave a comment. If you have a question, I'm going to leave my email in the description, and that email me. Comments is hard for me to get back to and answer. I try to, but questions I generally always get to by email. So send me an email, and we'll figure out if I can help you with that question. I will. Tell you what I know. I don't know a whole lot. I just know that you learn as you go when you buy a motorhome. And but guys, it's good being here with you all again today and getting to talk to you all and tell you a little bit about my experience after owning this for over a year. You know, I couldn't tell you this a year ago because I didn't know all of this. But anyways, things are, I love it. I love living in my barn dominium. I absolutely love it. I'm not saying nothing bad about it. I'm not saying nothing bad about my motorhome because that's typical of all motorhomes, to break and things wear out. And I could take you in the motorhome and showed you things that's broke and wore out, but shoot, you'd be watching all day long. Now the chassis itself, the Ford chassis, has held up very well. It's got the V12 or V10 motor in it, and I really enjoy driving it actually. So I enjoy my motorhome, and for me, it pays off because I'm using it to work out of. But for you, will it pay off? I'm John Ward. This is the Appalachian Channel. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.